Come and take a ride to the ocean. Stay. Introduce you to the ocean gang.
Hey, it's me again. Hopefully you watched the last episode I posted either yesterday or the day before. That was kind of a very brief prelude to what today is. Today I'm going to be installing the access port into my 2015 Subaru WRX. Again, yesterday, our last episode, I did briefly explain why I am getting this access port. Why is it blowing so hard right now? But last episode, I did briefly explain why I'm getting this access port. Some of the reasons that people buy them and install them into their cars. And showed you what was in the box. That was kind of fun. But today we are going to be putting the access port in and then going over some of the information that is going to come out of the access port once it is installed, and what I personally am going to be looking for in terms of that information. So let's get out of the wind. I hope that wasn't too brutal. Let's get out of the wind and into the car and get this access port installed. Alright, so here we have the access port all taken out of the packaging from last episode. So we have the access port and the stand that is going to go up on the windshield to hold the access port and give us all the information that we need. So with that being said, let us mount the access port mount. We'll figure out where exactly we want it to sit. And then I'm going to take a look at the dash really quick. I'm going to see what it looks like in terms of routing the wire. That way it's not just dangling over here. I want to try to route it somewhere. Possibly in here maybe. But we'll see. So yeah, I'm gonna get this put up there. I'm gonna put the camera on hands-free and let's get this thing installed. Alright, so I am right now I'm going to put the backing plate that's gonna hang attached to the mount. I'm gonna put the backing plate on the access port first. So it kind of just slides in just like a cell phone clip and clips in magnetically, it looks like. I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to put the access port with the holder on the mount here. That way I can kind of get an idea of what it's going to look like. So this mount just kind of swivels and then locks with the turn thing. So put it on, and then I'm going to want mine like here. Maybe here. Seems kind of cool. Blocking nothing. Close the door, that's good to me. Yeah, I like that. I think that looks good right there. So I am going to get the sticky tape off, stick it to here, and go from there. Let's get some alcohol to clean it off first. So now the surface is nice and clean for the tape to adhere to. Again, I'm just going to stick it on there just like that. It's out of the way of the heater, of the vent. It's out of the way of the knob that I might need right there. I like that. Excuse me. I like that. And it just comes off. And do that. Just over the knob. Yeah. Right here if I want to see anything. It's not right in the windshield. Yeah, I like that. So let's get the OBD2 wire now. I guess since it's gonna be right there, what is this cap? Does this cap do anything? Yeah, let's see what this cap does. Maybe we will route the wire in through here, just right under the dashboard. That way all we have is just the wire there. Let's see. A COBB sticker, that'll probably go. Well, I'm probably gonna do the bigger one on after. Alright, so let's get down here and see what we're looking at. I'm going to disconnect the battery because I don't want to be draining the battery with the door open, because we're gonna need it as actually, you know what, I'll just turn the car on, that way it'll charge the battery. That way the battery is charging a little bit through the alternator while I am routing and figuring out the routing for the wire, as opposed to dying with the door open. So it'll be as charged as it can be while the access port is pairing itself to the car. So matter of fact, let me bring you guys down there, that way you can see what I am doing, and that way you're not just watching from far away. Alright, so what I am looking at right now is this little cap here. So this is the traction control button. This is just an empty space. So what I am thinking about doing is popping this cap out, wiring the wire through here, and then drilling a hole in the cap and then cutting a line in it in order to be able to put the cap back around the OBD wire. So let me look into that, and I'm gonna put the camera down here, that way you guys can see kind of what I'm doing. Kind of see down in right in here. So if you can see, this is where that cap is. So there's some tabs around here in the back that are holding it in. I have my pick tools that I am going to try to get those tabs, and I'm trying to get the camera realigned. So I'm trying to get the tabs out, that way I can push the button in from the front out the back this way. Alright, so I am sitting here right now editing this video, and as you can see, I am struggling trying to get this panel out. I was taking way too long, half hour, 40 minutes or so, just to try to figure out how this thing comes out. Now the one thing you have to realize if you're ever working on your own car or any car in general, a car is like a big puzzle. Everything is put together in order to look as clean as possible and hide as many contact points and connection points as possible. That way when you're sitting in your car and you're looking at everything, it doesn't just look like a whole bunch of screws and whatnot holding everything together. So as you can tell, I am just figuring out now that the side panel of the dashboard pops off, revealing a couple screws that are gonna then allow the front panel of the dashboard to come forward, giving me enough room to get access to the last screw that is holding this panel on, allowing the final panel to come off, letting me pop the little cap that I've been trying to get out for the past 40 minutes, and something that should have taken maybe 10. So again, if you're ever finding yourself struggling with something that you think should be way easier, because that's what I was thinking this whole time, is that there's got to be a much easier way to be getting this piece off than how I am approaching it. So if you ever find yourself thinking that, just kind of look around what you're trying to get off, and more than likely there are other pieces that have to come off, or that you can take off first, or should take off first, in order to make what you're trying to then remove or replace come off or go back on the way that it's supposed to. So this piece is the piece that I'm going to drill a hole through, or try to figure out how I'm going to get a hole through it and get the access port in. Or I might just leave it open. We'll see. I'm gonna leave it out for now. But so as you can see, we're gonna route from the access port down through here, in through the little plug in this switch panel, and then down under into the OBD2 port right there. So let's get that ran and to it. Wire right here. So this is going to go in the OBD2 port. Like that. Make sure it's in there. And this is going to come up through here, here. And then the rest I'm going to Velcro up into here somewhere, and I will, or zip tie maybe, and I will show you how it looks when it is all cleaned up. So I'll do that. I'm going to get some zip ties. I'll be right back. Alright, so got a few zip ties. So what I'm going to do is, so that I don't have a huge wiry mess hanging down here, what I'm gonna do is just bundle the wires up nice and neat, unplug it from the OBD for now just to have a little bit more flexibility. I'm gonna bundle the wires back up now that I know I have approximately how much I will need for my access port. And I don't want to be pulling this out with my foot, so that's good. So I've just bundled the wires up in a nice bunch. Just gonna take one zip tie for now and do this. So this one zip tie here is going to hold everything together, and then I will do another zip tie somewhere up in here to hold it secure to the chassis somehow. So plug it in. I'll bring you guys with me. So I'll plug it in. Right like that. Into the OBD port. And then this I will tuck up into the foot panel down here. There we go. So that is in there. Alright. So we got our OBD stuff right in here. Yep, right there. I got the wires tucked into the kick panel right here, so they're not going to get stepped on or interfered with when I am driving. I'm just going to throw one zip tie around this. There's the main harness for the car is right here. I'm just going to zip tie all this together. That way I ensure that until I cut this zip tie, that this wire will not move from this position. And I will leave this zip tie long. I'm just going to tuck it in. That way, when the time comes, because I will have to cut this wire one day in order to separate these two, whether it be to do whatever with the access port or something. When I want to take these off, I will want to cut that, so I'm going to leave the tail along. That way I can just get a hold of it easier. Now let's work on getting our switch panel right here. We got to get this put back together here. So we're just going to feed our OBD wire through the panel just like this. And then we have our one wire that was disconnected to get this off. And this goes on, yep, I have it right, just like that. Now this goes in here, pull this off. Just like that. So this goes in here. Plug that came out of the hole. So now we have a nice almost OEM looking hole where our wire is coming out of. That's going to go into our access port. That goes under the dash, clean, nothing hanging, nothing dangling. Goes right into the OBD port where it belongs. I'm going to get my tools cleaned up, and then we will go through the access port settings, get everything done on there, and then we will take a drive before, actually we'll take a drive before I turn the access port on, just so I can show you kind of baseline real quick, not long, just down the street, what's going on without the access port, and then the reasons, I can point out some of the reasons that I installed this today, and why. So let's get onto the road and hit it.